Without firing a single shot, Russian President Vladimir Putin has, in just a matter of days, managed to bring the war in Ukraine to the heart of Europe, not through bombs or tanks, but through fear, disruption, and ambiguity. Across several European countries, chaos rippled through airports and critical infrastructure this past week. Drones triggered lockdowns, radar blackouts grounded flights, and the usual sense of security slipped quietly away. There were no smoking guns, no bomb craters, only confusion. And that, experts say, may have been the point. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warned citizens of a new era, an age of more violent and frequent hybrid attacks. She stopped short of naming Russia, but made it clear who Denmark sees as Europe's primary threat. In hybrid warfare, the fog of uncertainty is a weapon. When the culprits are unclear, the damage is harder to deter. People start to distrust their governments, their systems, and even their own sense of safety. As Frederiksen put it, the goal may be to make us no longer trust our authorities. Denmark has seen 3 days of airport closures, with a suspicious Russian military vessel lurking off its coast with its transponders turned off. Still, officials haven't named a culprit. Danish military intelligence says they can't confirm who's responsible. But the country's internal security chief admits the risk of Russian sabotage is high, and Denmark is not alone. In the United Kingdom, young criminals recruited by Russian operatives have already been convicted under the National Security Act for attacks on warehouses holding aid for Ukraine. In Poland, young Ukrainians were jailed for Russian-backed arson. Across the continent, software systems have been hacked, infrastructure targeted, and nerves shaken, sometimes by criminal gangs, sometimes by state actors, and sometimes by both in concert. The hybrid threat is designed to distract, to disorient, and to divide. It makes Europe's unwavering support for Ukraine feel suddenly more expensive and more dangerous at home. It fuels both sides of the argument. The appeasers who say it's time to negotiate with Putin, and the hawks who say the only way to stop this is through decisive, costly deterrence. Meanwhile, Ukraine continues to face relentless Russian assaults. Despite not losing much territory over the summer, its cities remain under daily threat. But Europe's attention is being pulled elsewhere, not by tanks, but by computer viruses, drones and fear. And now, a new bill has arrived for Europe's defense budgets. Nations must invest in digital and physical infrastructure resilience, bolster air defenses across thousands of kilometers of eastern border, and rethink how to fight a war without an obvious battlefield. And that, perhaps, is Putin's biggest win this month. The hybrid threat is cheap to deploy and costly to defend against. A single $30,000 Shad drone can force a country to launch a missile costing hundreds of thousands just to shoot it down. That is not a sustainable model, and NATO knows it. There are risks for Moscow too. A miscalculation, a civilian casualty on NATO soil, or an act of sabotage that goes too far could trigger a backlash. And with Donald Trump's unpredictable stance on NATO and Russia, the Kremlin must tread carefully. A US overreaction, or worse, no reaction at all, could have profound consequences. Still, in this shadow war, Putin doesn't need a grand victory. Causing a few days of disruption, casting doubt, making Europeans feel just a little less safe, that's already a win. And for now, that win has come without a single shot fired.